All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Town Hall, Internet Marketing and E-commerce for Small Businesses. My name is Justin, and today we're going to go right into our Fast Five and kind of ask a couple questions about Amazon and get Katie a chance to dive into some of the platform and some more questions that we have from last week. We're going to give everyone a couple minutes to get into the room here, and make sure you guys are throwing where you're from in the chat, and then also posting any questions that you have regarding internet marketing and e-commerce, so that way we can better serve you today in our town hall. All right. Okay, well, it looks like we've got just about everybody's joined that was on the list that sent out the invite. So welcome, everyone. And this is going to be a great show today. We have some leftover questions from last week. We've got some topics that we're looking forward to diving in. Still focusing mostly on e-commerce and answering some of the questions around advertising and optimizing listings. So looking forward to today's episode. Once again, my name is Justin. I'm one of the founders here of Hometown Social. I focus on internet marketing and creatively positioning why you do what you do in front of those you serve. So everything that has to do from your branding to your pay-per-click strategy to SEO content to web design and landing page and automations. That's where I live, and the life that I choose to pursue is one that focuses on brands that know their value and know why they exist and try to do it better than anybody else. And our co-host today is Katie. And Katie, if you want to give a little bit of an introduction to yourself.
Hey guys, thanks for joining. Justin and I share a lot of responsibilities in planning, and we have similar backgrounds, but the majority of his focus is on your own websites, is on social media platforms and things of that nature, where my focus is on Amazon and Walmart, and some of the larger e-commerce platforms. So on a daily basis, I help my clients manage and grow their online presence and the sales and revenue generated from those platforms.
Great. And we, like I said, we got a full show for you today. We always start off with our Fast Five, which is just a quick thought on what we've been doing the past week and kind of giving you guys the tools and a quick overview of tips and tricks for these specific features or tips that we want to point out and highlight. Katie, if you are ready, you can go. If not, I've got my list ready.
I'm going to focus on organization this week. I know I've talked about a lot of things regarding organization, but before I think it was priorities and time management. And so this week specifically, it's going to be on organization. These are more kind of one-offs than I usually have. There's usually a bit of a description, but these are kind of obvious, but they're some of my favorite hacks for staying organized, especially when you're busy. So first on my list is prioritizing long tasks that will take you long periods of time. I go ahead and put those on my Google Calendar. A lot of my meetings with my clients are weekly. And so if I have a meeting, weekly on Wednesday, and I know one of the tasks and action items resulting from that call is going to be something that takes me, an hour or more, I go ahead right after that call and make sure I schedule and block it off to have enough time on my calendar. That way, the sooner you do it, the more time you have to work on it. And if it takes you even longer than you think, you still have time before your next call to get things finished. So definitely prioritizing long tasks and putting them on your calendar. In the same breath, utilizing Google Calendar events to their fullest. I just totally preach this and I practice it. In the Google Calendar invites, you can link documents, you can create bullet points, you can put a call agenda, you can obviously do notifications and things like that as well. But I definitely put tons of links and information in those Google Calendar events, even if they're just to block off time for myself to do a task so that I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. If I have any resources that I need to pull, I definitely put those in there just to make things as quick and easy as possible for myself. And to that same notion, as the bullet point I mentioned before, putting not just meetings on your calendar, and giving yourself those resources can really help with things too, and just kind of keep you organized. A third, I already mentioned a call agenda. I'm not sure if I've gone into detail, about what I include on mine, but it's really important to have a call agenda and to decide whether or not you want to share it with the client. If you've got meetings where you have other team members on the call, you can go ahead and share it with your team members. If you want an internal version and an external version, those really are helpful for launch calls. Where you've got a lot of information, but you might have some questions that you don't want, the client to see that you're trying to get answered throughout the call. It is easy to share a version with the client and take notes on the other. Either you or your team member can have access to one. You guys kind of feed off of that, and one person's in charge of one while you're in charge of the other. But call agendas are fantastic, even if they're just for you, even if you don't share it. You can tailor those headings to whatever you need, whatever you find that you're constantly revisiting on calls, just so you have everything organized. And that way you can prep for your calls really quickly and easily without forgetting anything. Number 4, I guess I have a lot going on with Gmail, or just, your internal organization in general. But this point, I say clear out that inbox. I think it's easier for me because our business is, created within the past couple of years. And so the inbox was fresh for me. But right from the very beginning, I set up all my folders. Every single time I get an email that goes, into my inbox, I address it, I throw it into the folder it's supposed to be in, or I delete it, depending on whatever I need to do. Most of my emails I do actually save though, but I'm very, very kind of psycho, but definitely on top of my email, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. I can put something on the schedule. I just want to make sure that I have less tasks on the top of my head that I feel like I have to get to. And so if you check the email, if it's something I can't get to until later, obviously I'll mark it back as unread or something, and I'll make sure I get to it before the end of the day. But definitely really keep tabs on those emails. You never know too, if you're waiting to respond to something, it might be quicker, to respond to it than you thought. And so putting it off, if it was urgent for someone else, can kind of cause an issue there for them too. So I'm very punctual with my email, and prioritizing, getting that cleared out. To one final note, this is kind of a catch-all, but organizing folders, I think, is really, really important, and it saves time. And if you can, figure out one system of organization for all of your clients, we have marketing clients. And so we have probably a marketing folder and an advertising folder. And for me, I have inventory folders, business report folders, things like that. But definitely making sure you've got some kind of a system, and that you're not just letting your files creep and crawl all over the place. And if that's what it looks like now, you have some cleaning up to do, but it's really, really worth it to kind of start picking away at that, to make sure everything's organized, not only on your shared drives, but on your desktop and in your email. So that's my Fast 5, lots of, tips and tricks for organization. We definitely practice what we preach here, but I think it keeps us very organized, and we have the benefit of starting that way, so that moving forward, we're already going to be, set up, and this will be easy for whoever we onboard, in the coming months and years, just to have them, have a really good base and an easy, organized workplace.
Yeah, I think the tools that we have and the way that they're set up really allows for us to not let any information or tasks fall through the cracks. The best thing that you do is you immediately deal with things as they come up, that take less than 2 minutes. I've always watched you just grab them and finish them rather than let them sit and linger. So I think that being on top of the organization makes it feel like you don't have 50 to 100 2-minute tasks. You only have ones that present themselves. So I think that is a real benefit to all small businesses at any level.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and share your Fast 5, that was mine today.
Yeah. So mine today I'm going to go into the website builders that are available. Some of the ones that we use, there are plenty that are not going to be mentioned today, but I wanted to mention a couple of them to give a overview of the tools that are available to you to build a website on your own, or to hire somebody to go in and build it for you, and then what that would look like in management afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Today, the ones I want to review are the Wix platform, the Elementor and WordPress builder, Square, and Shopify. So the first one I have here is the ADI Wix builder. So as you can see, this is very much a template-oriented website builder. There's not much in the room of creativity outside of your branding. So if you look up here, there's the design tab, and you can pick the themes, set the colors and the fonts, and that's going to automatically apply to the entire website. So it makes it quick and easy, but again, it makes it to where there's not much outside of that to customize and add to. If you look on the left here, you can see that you can edit the text, but it goes into a specific place and is set up in a way that you can't really mess it up. So this is an easy way to build a website. It's comes with a template, and all you're doing is adding your own images and your own information and your own call to actions. But it's a very easy, simple builder. The other one that I have here that's in the same caliber is Weebly for web designers, which is along with our Square platform. So you've probably seen the little brick that you can plug into your iPhone, or the POS system that a lot of small businesses or food trucks have. Restaurants in particular are very popular with Square. A lot of the plugins that you put on your site in order to process payments comes through the Square platform as well. So they have their own builder. They bought Weebly, and this is a very similar setup to the ADI that Wix has. So you can see it's a lot of drag and drop, right? And you're able to customize and add to the sections there from the builder. There's also the same thing here with the themes. So you can set up, make sure that you have your global fonts and your color schemes, and you can set up what you want that to look like. So these are two that are very easy to use, very user friendly. Having someone build a site for you in these are normally going to be a lot more affordable. And then after the initial build is done and the filling out of the content, then you're able to go back in, and there is a learning curve, but you'll be able to edit your sites post-production. The other one is Shopify is very similar. I don't have an exact example to bring up. I didn't get approval from our two clients there to access their site to do this. But their builder is very, very similar to Weebly and the ADI for Wix. It's the most popular platform for e-commerce sites, easy to get built and put together, and then edit afterwards. So this is another platform that's very popular. The other one here is the Wix editor. There's another level of Wix editing after this called Editor X, which is more like the Elementor that I'm going to get into in a minute. But as you can see here, it's a little bit different layout than the ADI, but it gives you the chance to customize everything individually. There's saved templates. There's a lot of different layouts that you can highlight and feature and change to fit more of the style that you're looking for. This is one of the websites that we had one of our designers do, and she did a very good job on. But you can see that you can apply and add your own touch of creativity to these things and really get more in depth in what your pages look like and your carts and set automations, and really go more in depth into your site design and the media that you have on your site. So this is one of the tools that I really suggest for a small business that does have an established budget and is looking to be able to edit afterwards, but also wants more creativity and leniency on more capability on what they can do on their website. This is a little bit more of a learning curve when it comes to editing your site after you've already gone through the original build, but it's definitely worth it in the sense of what you can do and what you're capable of setting up moving forward, right? Elementor is the same way. So here's just the template page that you have. It gives you a lot more options on the customizing of your sections and the animations that are possible. You really can get into depth on making some unique positions of objects and movement with scroll effects and mouse hover effects. So there's a lot of really great things that you can do on Elementor. One of the best parts about this builder is the templates that come with the purchase of an Elementor Pro, and the theme that you decide to choose. So you get a lot of templates and good starting point. It has a lot more of a learning curve. It's pretty difficult to keep the consistency of your theme and your branding throughout the whole process. But it definitely gives your site the ability to rank better on Google through the plugins that are available through WordPress, the likes of Yoast SEO and multiple others, and the ability to edit your code right in the back end to make sure you have the right tracking set up. So that's my Fast Five today. I just want to do a quick review of the builders. And if you guys are in a position where you need to revamp your website or are in a spot where you're looking to start your business, we'd love to answer any of your questions there, oriented around what you should do and what platform you should be on and what's best for your current situation. Yeah, so it looks like here we're going to go ahead and jump into some of our questions from last week. I think, Katie, you're still muted there.
Yeah,
just wanted to give you a heads up. So if there's any, yeah, it's the benefit of us being in the same space. I can hear and see if you're popping off on the mic. So yeah, if we want to just kind of roll into some questions,
I actually have
that'd be
some
great.
questions for you regarding tools. So I figured while we're on the same kind of subject, we should keep going there because I do have some questions for you. A couple of these were listed in the first meeting a couple weeks ago. We never got the chance to address them from some of the viewers. But we mention tools quite frequently. I know we have so many that we use that we love, but some of the viewers were wondering, how do you know if the tools that you're using are right for you? And just to kind of shape the conversation, what I'm thinking, the viewer was wondering is like, do I have to use it every day for it to be perfect for me? Does it have to replace something, that I can't do on my own? Or how do you really gauge if a tool is working for you and if it's good for your company?
Yeah, I think some tools, ones that are oriented around optimization, are ones that you're not going to use every day, but you want available to you when you decide to go publish or create or, maybe revamp your website or revamp your marketing in any way, shape, or form. Those tools are ones that you definitely want to have around. Those are, like I said, plugins for your website or their search engine tools that you have. Some of which at an agency level are a really great deal. But when it comes down to just you as a business, having some of these tools might not make sense in a budget. There are a lot of free versions available that would make sense. But when you're looking at the tools that you integrate into your sales funnel or into your management of your day-to-day and your priorities, you want to find one that works for you in a way that, even if it's kind of difficult to grasp and integrate originally, you want to start with one that you think works well, and then look every quarter or every 2 quarters or every year at the tools that you're using and seeing, okay, this is one that we found. Let's review what it would take to move from this project management software to another, and ask the tough questions about, is it worth switching or not? But finding the ones that fit your need in the project management space, in the scheduling space, depending on if you're a service business or not, ones for lead gen and for crafting and creating your content. So looking at the tools and evaluating, because there's so many in each space, but finding one, going for it, trying it out, and committing to it, and then finding ones that fit your situation better.
I totally agree. I was also just thinking, while you were speaking, just because a tool, fit you at a certain time doesn't mean 6 months down the road, that you still need it. Maybe you've outsourced it, or maybe you've gotten another tool that encompasses quite a few of the things that you were using before. So it's definitely a good idea to keep checking in, just to make sure that whatever you have available as resources to you are still important. Again, to that same notion, but a little different. If you're still missing something, maybe it's time to look at something more cumbersome that will integrate a lot of the needs that you have and get rid of some of the other tools that you have. So it's definitely good to pay attention and to kind of optimize what it is that you're using on a daily basis, or whatever kind of tools in your toolbox you have, just to make sure that you're getting the most out of them and you're not overpaying, or paying for too many things that you're not really using, or missing out on something that could be even better for you and your company.
Yeah, why don't you take a minute to overview some of the tools that you use in optimizing and managing your Amazon platforms, or the brands on Amazon that you manage. So some of the ones that help you with research and data, and see what we can uncover
Okay,
from there.
I'll go into Helium 10 today. I just want to check one thing.
Yeah, I think Helium 10 is a good one to start on. Our version of that for SEO that we love to use is Ahrefs. I've heard it pronounced multiple different ways, but it's a great way to look at the data, who's searching, and what are related terms and questions, and what content is driving the most traffic for your competitors, and then go through that process of reusing that content. So I'm looking forward to learning more
Yeah,
about
Helium
Helium
10
10.
is great because this is a tool that a lot of Amazon sellers do utilize. I know that there's a lot of capabilities with Walmart as well, which is great. Some of the features for Walmart are newer, just because Amazon was kind of the first marketplace where all of these tools really were getting targeted just to help sellers out, because there's a lot going on there. But the majority of what I use Helium 10 for my clients is a lot of the keyword research, but there's a lot more in-depth tools that are all within Helium 10. So right here I have pulled up just the slew of tools that we've got access to. Right off the bat, there's some product research tools. We manage clients that are already established on Amazon, and so this is something I use a little bit less, but some of the black box tools, for example, will also help you research competitors. So even if you're not looking to add a new product to your Amazon catalog, this can still give you some insight on competitors that some of the other tools, don't have. Listing optimization. These are really, really in-depth and are something that make it easier to track the improvements that you've made if you have a ton of listings, because you'll do your keyword research here. But for example, with Frankenstein and with Scribbles and Index Checker, you'll be able to see on an individual listing basis if you've made sure you've included all those words on your keyword list, like with what you can do with Index Checker. With Listing Optimizer, you can do the same thing. And just kind of keep tabs on what it is that you wanted to include. See here how you can kind of edit and make sure that you include that full list, and how many times you've used the same word and things like this, so that you're not writing something that sounds really repetitive. Index Checker will then scan through your entire listing and then see what words Amazon is actually associating with your listing. So if you've gone through and done a keyword research kind of project, and you've reboosted your listings, go on there and Index Checker to make sure that Amazon is actually giving you credit for all of those words. If not, you might need to rewrite some things. You might need to direct some traffic with ads to those keywords to make sure you're making sales on the keywords that you've added to the listing, so that you can start to get credit and some organic ranking for some of those keywords. Listing Analyzer is great. It'll go ahead and crawl the page for you to see if you need to optimize images, bullet points, titles, product description. These are some of the things that we went over in the last video, but I'd be happy to talk more in depth with you about them if you reach out to us. The keyword research, again, this is where I spend most of my time, but I could go in, maybe next time we'll do a deep dive and go into some of these and just see how they work. But this is more an overview.
Yeah. When you look at this tool, what business category, meaning established, a few hundred products, or new and looking to get on Amazon, what level of business does this tool cater
I would
to
say
most?
if you're on Amazon, you really should look at a tool like this. There are a few competing products out there called, Jungle Scout. There's some others, but I think Jungle Scout and Helium 10 are two of the biggest. There's also another tool called Envision Horizons that I really like, that has a totally different approach to some of these things, that has a lot of different data and metrics that you can't really analyze as easy on Amazon. So this is a unique case where I'd say, do this in conjunction with an Envision Horizons tool or something like that. But at any level, you can definitely get your foot in the door. I do believe Helium 10 actually offers a free version with very, very limited access to some of the tools that you can use on here. But whether you're just starting on Amazon or whether you're selling, big time on Amazon, it's definitely worth having a tool like this so that you can easily look through keywords, look through different competing listings, and keep track of some of the research that you're doing. So I think that's a great question. To that point, you don't need access to the entire slew of products that Helium 10 offers if you're just getting started. For example, this marketing section here, there's an Atomic section where you can actually integrate your advertising console into here. If you're not running ads, obviously you shouldn't be paying for a subscription that has ad optimization. That's just kind of something that's in one of the higher packages. It's more expensive to have access to it. And also, if you
What's the price? What's the price
so
range
I
of
think
this
it
tool?
ranges anywhere from the free version. I think the most commonly used version is about $100 a month. But you can get up to, I think, 200, and then there's also an enterprise version with custom tools and features if you do have an agency like we do, and you have so many clients that will need access to some of these things. For example, the Atomic can only be hooked up to one ad console at a time. So if you wanted more, then you'd have to upgrade to an executive or higher membership. Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
One last bit on here that I definitely want to mention. They do have alerts. If you're selling on Amazon, it's great to have a tool or some kind of software that does have the alerts, because oftentimes if someone is reselling your product, or if just Amazon kind of goes haywire and associates the wrong brand with your product, or takes down a listing image or a bullet point or something like that, the product monitoring alerts are great to have set up, because it's kind of looking and monitoring in the background, so you don't have to be totally hands on deck on every single listing every single day, which gets difficult with managing different clients, or difficult when you've got more than 20, 30 products in your catalog. So definitely a wide range of tools on here, whether it's about product research, listing optimization, keyword research, alerts, or even on Helium 10 the ability to do some advertising optimization tool. So Helium 10 is probably my favorite. It's just really user friendly. And that's kind of an overview. Again, maybe next week we'll go into how to use some of the tools. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, I think most of the things that we do are all oriented around leveraging the tools that we have available to us. I've always been amazed at what the integrations and the AI and machine learning have really allowed for us to do, and how we manipulate our ads to better serve what the data is telling us. So I think the tools and being familiar with them are the difference that makes a difference when it comes to internet marketing.
I totally agree. I don't have any more related questions. So if you have anything related, we can dive into that. Or if not, maybe we have just a little bit of a shorter segment today.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a couple minutes left here. The only thing that it looks like in the chat, we have someone asking a little bit more around the KPIs and looking at those tools and which ones to emphasize when you're looking to grow. So I think that one's going to carry over into next week. I don't know if we have enough time to get into that, but if looking at the time left, I think we just kind of wrap up with the. I think you posted something on LinkedIn about the increase in the pricing with Amazon. I saw that last week. Do you want to maybe talk about what's going on with
Oh
pricing
yeah,
and
just
shipping real
because
quick?
it's time sensitive. It's just a newer update on Amazon. I'll try to find the post really quick just so I can reference. Let me see.
I think it was an article that had to do with the fuel prices and the increase of some of the fees towards the.
Yeah, I can't find the
sellers.
exact post right now. It is on our LinkedIn somewhere. This price increases, not in regards to fuel. This is about Q3 and Q4 coming up. So during the busier times of year, Amazon raises the fees associated with FBA, just given the fact that it's a really competitive space during Q4 where everyone's trying to get room in the warehouse to store their products, and so Amazon raises their fees. The shipping tiers still stay the same, so whatever your box sizes are, you'll just have to look on the table that Amazon provides to be able to reference, based on the size of the boxes that your products come in, how much of an increase you'll expect to see. But it's definitely important for understanding your profit margins and for keeping things organized and on track. I think a lot of sellers were kind of surprised at the jump in the increase of fees this year. We've been hit with quite a few recently, so a lot of us were expecting them to be a little bit lower, but there is still a big difference for some of the categories. So it's worth checking on Seller Central for that. If you want to go on our LinkedIn page, we do have the link to the article on there from Amazon, just so that you can reference to see how much of an increase in fees you should be expecting to see this holiday season, this peak season.
Well, perfect. Well, guys, it's been another great 30-minute block. I hope you got a lot out of this session, and looking forward to meeting with you guys next week. As always, you can email us the questions. We've got some left over in the chat here that are for next week, and looking forward
Thanks
to
so much,
seeing you
guys.
next
Happy
week.
Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Bye.